You are listening to I Am Refocused Radio with your host, Shemaya Reed. This show is designed to inspire you to live your purpose and regain your focus. And now, here's your host, Shemaya Reed.
Hey, welcome to I Am Refocused Radio. We are here once again. Today, we have a true honor. We're going to talk to two special guests today. We're going to talk to Jenifer Faison, true crime victim, and Andrea, co-host of True Crime Podcast, Betrayal. I wanted to say welcome to the show to you both, and good morning. How are you doing?
Good morning. Thanks for having us.
Thank you for joining us this morning. And I'll start with Jenifer Faison. Tell us the backstory of how all this came about to start this podcast series.
Well, I am a reality TV show producer, and about 4 years ago, life just kind of exploded, and my husband was arrested for having sex with a student. He was a high school teacher. And going through all of that, it was incredibly traumatic, and there were so many unanswered questions because this just was not the person I knew, the person I was living under the same roof with. And so I started writing, and I just wrote and then started talking with people and realized that right now, what better medium could, this be as a podcast? It was just kind of a good way to tell the whole story and follow the journey.
And also you, Andrea, you are known as executive producer for many hit podcasts. What are some of the things that you are seeing with this series and how important it is?
Yeah, I mean, when Jen approached me in 2019 to take on the story, I was just really fascinated by the idea of, the stranger beside you. I mean, she had known her husband since college. They were college sweethearts and then broke up and then reconnected later in life. And so they had known each other for a really long time. And it was just this idea of that you think you know someone and they turn out to be someone completely different. And so that's where we started the whole concept of the show. That's really just the beginning of what the show is about, but that's what fascinated me the most.
And also you, Jenifer, when you are telling your story throughout the whole podcast, you have explosive interviews with some teasers that you can give to the audience, because I know you have some guests that really will make people want to turn up the volume.
Yeah, thank you for saying that. I think, this was a journey, and I don't think we knew what it was going to end up like at the end, but we just took it one step at a time. And one of the questions that I had were for some of the women. I mean, I found dozens and dozens and dozens of material between my ex-husband and women. And so I think part of the reason I wanted to reach out to them was to understand how he had treated them, because it was completely different from the way he treated me. And what I realized in talking with them is that they still live with a lot of shame about this. And so I feel like we were able to connect with empathy for what we had gone through, each of us, and what we had gotten caught up in with this person that we just clearly didn't know.
Once again, talking to Jenifer Faison and Andrea Gunny. And last question for you, Andrea. When you're making these podcasts, especially this one, you have a resume of having some heavy hitters. What does this one how does this one different from the rest that you have produced?
We did Confronting O.J. Simpson and Confronting Columbine, and those were about transformative events in American history. And this is more of a personal story about a woman that her life was shattered within an instant and took, 3-4 years to rebuild her life. And it's been such a personal journey for me to work directly with Jen. It's personal, it's emotional, and I don't think a lot of people talk about betrayal trauma. I mean, I didn't really understand what that was until I worked on this show. And so it's just a different concept. And for one woman to sit down with a woman her husband had an affair with, I've never heard that. So I just think it's a different type of show. It's emotional, it's raw. And I've just loved putting it together.
Once again, talking to Jenifer Faison and Andrea Gunny. You can listen to this amazing podcast, Betrayal, exclusively iHeartPodcast Network, also available on anywhere you can hear a podcast on a major platform. I want to say thank you to you, Jenifer, and also you, Andrea, taking time your busy schedule talking to us today.
Thank
you. Thank you so much.
I Am Refocused Radio is brought to you by Foo 4 Star and Holy Crab. Foo 4 Star is a family-owned Asian restaurant in San Antonio, Texas. We have been a local favorite for Asian cuisine for over 10 years. With nothing but full smiles and fast service, you'll be leaving satisfied. Come on in for some authentic Vietnamese food. Holy Crab is one-of-a-kind Cajun Creole-style seafood restaurant located in Universal City, Texas. We offer traditional seafood items as well as chicken and steak. We also offer seafood boils. Come give us a try. You won't be disappointed. You can find these two eateries in Universal City, Texas at 2921 Pat Booker Road.